let's talk about the book, The Green. What made
Thank you.
write
Yes.
the book? Yeah. How long did the process take to write the book as well?
Okay. So I have always wanted to be an author, and actually, I was like, up until maybe about a year ago, I remember having this conversation with somebody on the phone. And I was like, I can't even tell you what I really want to do. And she's like, why not? And I'm like, I can't even say it out loud. Like, I'm so embarrassed. Because to me, it was like saying I want to be a movie star. Like, it's just such a silly, like, dream, you know? And I literally remember having this conversation. I was like taking a walk and I had this conversation. I had the phone in my, Bluetooth headset. And I'm like, I can't tell you what I really want to do. And I mean, not that I don't love my job, but like, I guess my dream was to be an author, and I had started a lot of things and they never kind of stuck and I never really liked them. And she really encouraged me, and that was pretty much the kind of catalyst. That was the point of like, okay, you're saying I can just like write a book? And she's like, yeah. I'm like, okay. Really? She's like, yeah. And I was like, what if nobody likes it? What if it sucks? What if this? She's like, that is none of your business. You need to write what you feel. And I was like, okay. And at the time I was working at a private practice, which is like not a school, not a hospital. It's like a privately owned clinic, which was a very big clinic. It was an autism clinic, and it was very big, it's still around, but they didn't have any recycling. And I just saw the amount of garbage, and like, it scared me. And at the same time, I was reading this book called 101 Ways to Go Zero Waste. Do you know about the zero waste movement?
No,
I'm not too familiar.
Actually, I'm not.
Okay, so zero waste movement is the idea of trying to make the least amount of waste you can. So like, instead of buying something in like little prepackaged like things with a bunch of wrappers, you consciously make a choice to buy bulk, so it's a lot less packaging. And then if you need little things, then you like put it into little baggies. And then instead of using just disposable baggies, you're going to use reusable baggies. Instead of using like paper napkins, you're going to use reusable napkins. Instead of regular diapers, you use cloth diapers. Basically, like, anything reusable that you can do, you do. Anything you can buy less of that's prepackaged, you do, etc. And it's just like trying to do better. So it doesn't mean that like you're never going to make any waste ever. That's impossible. But the idea is to just make a less impact on the world. And actually, let me go back a little bit. What really woke up my environmental love was this movie. It was a documentary on Netflix called Cowspiracy. Have you seen it?
No.
Cowspiracy?
It sounds familiar to me, though. It is.
So it's the makers of another movie called Cowspiracy, and it talks about how eating meat, dairy. Yep. Oh, you have? Okay. So it's very similar. It's the same person, or people, I should say, and they talk about how like the environment is impacted by what we eat, and eating meat and dairy and eggs. And I was like, wait, what? And it just like flipped around my world. And so that's probably where the environmental sort of thing ignited in me. I literally became vegan after watching that movie. Like,
oh wow,
I was like, that's it, I'm vegan. And then I was vegan. I don't recommend you do that necessarily. And we were going on vacation, so I wasn't like 100%, and I'm still not 100% strict. I'm not like super strict, but I really tried, just because of the impact of on the environment, along with other things. But that was a big focus of mine. And so I was at this clinic, and I'm watching this garbage like pile around me, and I watch people walking around with their like little plastic disposable, cups and this and that. And I was just like so sad about it, that people just don't care. It like deeply, deeply saddened me. And I remember talking to my husband, and I was like, what if I could make this book that's not like, this is the ways to reduce waste. Like, nobody that doesn't care is going to read that, right? Like, you don't care, you're not going to care by that. So I wanted to make a story that was like a fantasy story that kind of alluded to the environment. And I think this book ended up being a little bit more forward than I initially intended, but that's just kind of how it came. I guess I was a little more passionate than I thought. And I was like,
it's a good story.
Thank you. But that was where it really came from. Just this like need to wake people up to it. And so I do want it to be really successful. Like, the idea is that people read it. I mean, that was really my idea. And I wish I was as imaginative as J.K. Rowling in Harry Potter. And maybe with time I will be, because I truly admire the Harry Potter series. Like, the world she built is amazing. But what if that had like some sort of message? How many people would be affected? How many people would read it and like get that message? Like, that would be amazing. So that would be really my ultimate dream, is to have that kind of impact, but actually have a message in there.
Nice.
So
nice.
what do you want the reader to take away from your book?
Honestly, I would love, I'm sorry, you also asked me how long the process took, so I'll go back to that and I'll come back in just a second. The process took very little time. I was really inspired by this book. It was really quick. It was really quick. I mean, it's a pretty short book. It's a pretty short book. And I think the ending, I just didn't know how to end it. And then I did, because of events that happened, because it was very much inspired by 2020, the year 2020. But it was like, I don't know, it was a really quick, like, it flew out of me. I don't even remember writing it. It was like, I don't know, it was just very quick. So that's good, I guess. And what do I want people to get out of it? So ideally, in theory, and I know this theory went kaput once I wrote it, but in theory, I would have loved for people who have no interest in the environment to like read it as a fantasy and be like, that's interesting. I never thought of it that way. But really, I don't think that's what's going to happen. I don't think people who already don't care are going to like actually read it. I think it's more for people who are already interested in the environment. And I couldn't tone it down. Like, if I toned it down, maybe, but I couldn't do it. That's not how it wrote itself, so if you will. And it wrote itself kind of crazy like that. And so it is a little bit in your face, I think. Maybe not. I don't know. And I didn't mean for it to be like that, but that is what happened. And like I said, I do feel like it almost like wrote itself. So I didn't have much say in that. So that's what happened.
It kind of broadens your imagination, because you can see as I'm reading, I can see the characters, and I can see, like, you know what I mean? Like,
oh, good.
Like that. So, yeah,
that's awesome. Thank you. And I think the characters weren't the main point. Like, if I were to rewrite it, let's say like it went, somewhere, that would be amazing if it became very successful, very popular. And I would love to maybe like expand on the characters and juice it up a little bit. Yeah. But I just needed to, it was like an urgent message I felt like I had to get out of me. Yeah. I would love to fluff up the world that they're in. I would love to like add in more juicy details and like round up the characters and things like that. Like, that would be really an awesome project, I think. But I would really like the message to get out there first.
Okay. You said what is called a 0%?
Zero waste movement.
Zero waste
movement. Yeah.
Okay.
And I think that name is intimidating, because it's not, you're not ever going to be at zero waste. I guess not ever. You could go live on an island and like literally make everything yourself, but don't. So I think it should be like reduced waste movement, but it's called the zero waste movement.
Got you. Zero waste movement. I have to check that out, because I didn't really.
Zero got more power behind it, though,
Yeah.
I can see that.
It's like real serious, like zero.
Yes,
waste.
that's true. No, I'm not zero waste by any means. I try, but like, I'm also not like, grounding my own flour or anything like that to not use the packaging. So
it's probably just to tell people just as best as you can.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not that hard. Like, if you plan ahead, like we use cloth napkins now. And at first I was like, cloth napkins, are you crazy? And it's just so natural now. I don't even think about it. And they're pretty, and I like them. Like, why not? They're absorbent. I take them with me if we go on like a picnic. I'll take, our own silverware. I won't like get plastic silverware, things like that. So I do plan ahead, but now it's kind of second nature. And at first, I guess it can be daunting, but that's why you start slow and you build it up, right? And like, if I go to a restaurant and I feel like I might have leftovers, or if I'm getting takeout, then I'll try to bring my own container. But if it's like, takeout, I can't avoid it. And then there are containers that are plastic, and I feel bad about it, but that's, I'm not gonna do everything at once, but I'm trying, but but I really like takeout. So yeah.
Right. Especially nowadays.
I know it really started with COVID. Like we didn't do takeout that often, but it really became a thing. So unfortunately, and I'm not proud.
No, I mean you can't really. I mean, like you say, you try your best to avoid it, but
Exactly. And then we recycle, of course, but actually recycling is a bit of a hoax. It's really sad. I don't know if you want to look into this or if you want me to go into this, but recycling, like, you want to know the small percentage? It's a very small percentage of stuff that actually gets recycled. It used to be that it was sent off. All the countries, I think, don't quote me on this, but I believe like countries would send their stuff that they couldn't recycle to China, and they recycled it, and now they have enough of their own stuff, so they don't take it anymore. So a lot of stuff ends up in the garbage anyways, and people think that recycling is so great because that's how it's sold to us. It's like, reuse, reduce, recycle. Really focus on the reducing, because the recycling is not working so well. Reusing is great. If you already have it, then yeah, definitely reuse it, but really we have to focus on reducing.
Yeah, I heard that like in the Pacific, they got like a heap of trash. It's just floating around.
Yeah, that's correct.
Oh,
there's a movie called A Blue Ocean. No, A Plastic Ocean. A Plastic Ocean.
Wait, you say it's in the Pacific?
It's just floating around. Right?
It's a big like island of trash. It's terrible. And we eat, like, if you eat fish, you're eating plastic. Because all the plastic, it just like disintegrates into little tiny pieces. It's never gone. Then they eat it. And guess who eats it? Us.
Man, I ain't gonna lie. That DJ fish is good though. I ain't gonna lie.
I mean,
catfish.
I understand. But it's really sad. Just like what happened.
With the hot sauce on it, I ain't gonna lie. You know what I'm saying?
Plastic fish, man.
Yeah, that's true. I never thought about that, but yeah, you know.
It's sad. Yeah, Plastic Ocean had me like crying for like a week. A Plastic Ocean. Check it out for sure.
It's on Netflix?
That one I believe is. I saw it a while ago, but I think it's on Netflix. I would not watch it again. It's too heart-wrenching for me. Maybe people who aren't as emotional can watch it. I like literally cried. I literally cried during that movie. It was so sad.
That seafood one you were talking about, I seen that, and I love seafood. But it was just like, damn.
I know. I mean, yeah.
I like seafood too. I gotta check. Well, I don't know if I should check that out.
No, if you listen, I feel like you're gonna feel some sort of way about it, though.
For real?
Yeah.
I mean, at least if you're conscious, you can, make better choices. It's eye-opening. I'm sure there are some things that they probably over-exaggerate, and you probably want to look more into them. I'm sure it's not 100% unbiased true. Like, that's not going to happen. I know they, added for the dramatic effect, but, like, there is at least some truth in there, and it is scary. So check it out if you
the salmon pot
so dare. Really, what's that?
Yeah, the salmon pot. When they said that, like, the flesh of the fish itself, they, like, put, like, the coloring in it to make it look, and that was just, like, mind blown.
The salmon?
Yeah.
I remember that. I learned at some point, and I was like, what? That's so weird. Yeah, it's crazy. The shit. I'm sorry, I couldn't say that right. The stuff.
There's no filter.
We are fed in our food is really scary. It's really scary if you look at it from even a health perspective.
We can go the best if you just fuck with me. I can keep you with the best. I'm gonna keep you. I can keep you with the best if you just fuck with me. I can keep you with the best. I'm gonna treat you. I can keep you with the best. Eating good, shopping sprees. I can keep you with the best. Give you what you want. I can keep you with the best if you just fuck with me. I can keep you with the best. I'm that nigga.